It's the final round of the regular season in the Cooperative Championship, and we still don't know who's going to finish top of the table. Will it be the Barrow Raiders who take pole position for the playoffs, or can Sheffield Eagles deny them here at the Don Valley Stadium tonight? It's a massive game for both sides. Just a bonus point would be enough for Barrow to finish first. The Eagles know a win could lift them up to third. They could even take second if Halifax slip up in their game against Toulouse this weekend. It is that close at the top of the table. Whitehaven and Featherstone also in the top six, as are the Widnes Vikings. We know who the top six are, we just don't know what order they're going to finish in. Neither do we know who's going to go down with Doncaster. That is between Batley, Gateshead and the Lee Centurions. They all have big games this weekend. In fact, let's take a look at this final round of fixtures in the Cooperative Championship, the final round of the regular season. We've got Halifax against Toulouse, that's on Saturday evening at the Shea. And then on Sunday, three big games. Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoffs for Doncaster against Gateshead Thunder, Featherstone against Batley and Lee Centurions against Whitehaven. Those are crucial games for Gateshead, Batley and for Lee, for Whitehaven and Featherstone as well. Well, the Sheffield Eagles go into this game in great form at the moment. They've won their last 3. They were particularly impressive in beating Featherstone Rovers 28-12 here last Thursday, but they are without Brendan Lindsay because of a nasty injury. Otherwise, they have Johnny Woodcock, full-back. Then it's Danny Mills, Menzi Yeri, who is fit again. He took a knock against Featherstone. Tangi Rapati, Damien Gibson. With Lindsay absent, it's Kyle Wood and Matty Brooks, the half-back combination for the Eagles. In the forwards, Jack Howison, the captain, Craig Cook, Michael Haley, Alex Zostak, Peter Green and Joe Hurst. And on the bench, Mitchell Stringer, Sam Barlow, Trevor Exton and Ryan Hepworth. And the coach is Mark Aston. Now this Barrow Raiders side is unchanged despite defeat last time out. That was the 16-12 loss at home to Gateshead, which really scuppered their plans for a celebration of first place at Craven Park on Monday evening. But despite that, Dave Clark, now in charge again, keeps an unchanged side with Gary Broadbent captaining the side at full-back. Andy Ballard, Andreas Bauer, Liam Harrison, James Nixon, Jamie Rooney, James Coyle. In the forwards, Rob Roberts, Andy Ellis, Brett McDermott, Dave Allen, Martin Ostler and Zeb Luisi. And on the bench, Andy Braychek, Paul Noon, Ned Katic and Chris Young. And the coach is Dave Clark. And Dave Clark finding himself back in the hot seat only a few weeks after standing down to make way for Steve Deakin. And of course, Steve Deakin leaving the club in, shall we say, mysterious circumstances ahead of that Gateshead Thunder game after a 100% record. You can't do much more than that. 4 wins from 4 in his 6-week tenure, but Dave Clark now back in charge and just about running the show on his own as far as playing matters go. So it's going to be interesting, Phil, just to see how Barrow Raiders do respond to all this upheaval. They didn't respond that well on Monday night when they lost to Gateshead.
No, and it must almost be unique in rugby for the side at the top of the competition to travel to the side in fourth, the final game of the season, and yet be underdogs going into the match, also with a strong side on paper. But the Barrow side have had their ups and downs. It really has been a roller coaster ride for the supporters and the players this season. Getting to that first final for 26 years was a massive boost for the side mid-season, but I'm sure now the players and their supporters are desperate for them to make it all the way through to the grand final, and the best chances of doing that would of course be a resounding success here tonight, which is difficult when playing against a strong and determined Sheffield outfit.
Well, having spoken to Steve Deakin earlier on today, he did say that he wishes his former club all the best for the remainder of the season, all the best for them this evening, has no ill will towards them. He did want to emphasise that never, as had been suggested, perhaps did he show any favouritism or bias in terms of team selection, and he did his best for the club in his brief stay there, and he thinks he did his best. Well, 4 wins from 4 and top of the table certainly would suggest that, but obviously things didn't work out. and he is sitting at home watching this. Jamie Leahy is the referee this evening. And Sheffield Eagles, by contrast, sailing on serenely, looking for at least a third place finish. And as mentioned at the top, second place is not inconceivable. It would need a shock of major proportions at Halifax on Sunday with Toulouse to win for the Eagles to be able to overhaul them.
Well, a look at the league table shows you that Sheffield are always a competitive side. The 9 bonus points they've picked up because they have pushed their opponents even when they haven't been successful, and I'm sure they'll push Barrow very hard here tonight.
3 wins in a row for this Eagles side. In fact, they've lost only 3 in their last 10 games.
All right, John, when you're ready,
and they're looking to finish their regular season on a high note as they get this game underway. They certainly started very strongly against a Featherstone Rovers side last Thursday, and they'll be looking to do that again here tonight. But no Brendan Lindsay for this Sheffield Eagles side. Had been ever present for them, but he sustained a cut in the match last Thursday on this pitch, and it's believed that he cut himself on some debris left on the field after a recent concert staged here. And you only have to look at the pitch to see the evidence of that, because the Sheffield Eagles end of the pitch, the end that the Eagles are defending, is very bare indeed, and a strange layout of turf there to try and repair some of the area. That's the end of the pitch. The Barrow Raiders are attacking. They're in possession at the moment with Andy Ellis, and here's Coyle now, and Coyle brings Dave Allen into play. And that's the 5th tackle, and Rooney will hoist the kick.
Well, an aggressive and impressive start there for the Barrow side. Got to the other end of the field. That's still the last tackle.
Broadbent puts the kick in. Oh, Ballard has got there, and it'll get the try. Well, what a try that will be if it is allowed.
I just want onside, offside.
Talk about quick thinking. Gary Broadbent, on the last play of that set, put the kick in, and Ballard was first to respond. But were they onside from the original kick? This is.
Well, there they are. In fact, I don't think there's a problem here. It comes off a Sheffield player. Liam Harrison pats it back. This so often happens in rugby league. When the ball goes to ground after the first kick, defenders switch off and think the threat's over. You'll see many of the red shirts almost stationary here, not moving quick enough. But Ballard continues, and his vision to predict what's about to happen. He's clearly behind Broadbent. He's at the bottom of your screen in the centre. Wearing number 36. If you just see, keep your eyes on him. Short, shaven head. It's kicked back, I think, there from Harrison. Was Harrison onside for that kick?
Robert Hicks is the video ref, and that is disallowed for the original offside, but it deserved more than that, because it was superb quick thinking from Broadbent and Ballard.
Well, Liam Harrison just in front of the kicker as it went to the ground. That's the reason why he's been penalised. And Sheffield mightily relieved here now that they're not 4 points or possibly even 6 behind. Great kick and wonderful catch there by Ballard.
That's a big let-off for the Eagles, but it's surely going to give the Barrow Raiders a bit of a lift. They've come close already.
A real confident start by this Barrow side. They're getting off the line. They know they've got to contain Sheffield to real short plays in the yardage, because they've got a big set of forwards. Looking on the bench as well, they've got some real intimidating plays to come off. But Barrow have got to start strong, and they've got to keep the focus on getting that win.
But it's the Eagles in possession with Jack Howison, their captain now. And it's the Raiders' turn to defend. And a little chip kick over the top from Craig Cook, and desperate measures, and the goal line dropout is forced. Broadbent to the rescue.
Well, every side wants a fullback who's safe, reliable and consistent. Broadbent's certainly that, in the right position, body checks the ball, out of play, and that now means that Sheffield should in theory receive possession from this goal line dropout and have a chance to attack. Interesting, most of the British Isles suffering from the strong winds at the moment, and there's certainly evidence of that here at Sheffield. It's strongly in favour of the Sheffield side, and on a pitch that's only 90 metres long, I suspect we might see 1 or 2 40-20 attempts as the gear wears on.
Rooney keeping that one low into the wind, in actual fact, to avoid it hanging up there. And immediately Jack Howison brings the ball back for his Sheffield side. Now it's with Michael Haley, who's done well since coming here from Doncaster. Haley, Leeds Academy product. Shostak straight up the middle. towards those posts.
All offside.
And then Cook. Good defence from Harrison, great defence from Harrison, but he was too quickly off the mark.
Get the 2 feet on the line. Here we are, you can walk back
Up
if you
very
want.
quickly, Liam Harrison was. The penalty goes to Sheffield Eagles. Oh, bit of a tangle there.
One, move. Try line.
Harrison plays the ball. Here's Haley again.
2, move.
Right underneath those Barrow Raiders posts as McDermott makes the tackle. Wood. Green comes back across the field. They keep the ball alive. Still going, Sheffield Eagles.
Move.
And Barrow Raiders' defence is under pressure.
Jimmy.
Craig Cook pops the ball up to Haley again. Once more, good defence from McDermott. McDermott gets an elbow in the chin for his pains there. Cook. Wood brings Menzieri back, and Yeri stretches out for the try. A try in quick time against Featherstone last Thursday, and another one tonight for the PNG international Menzieri. And the Raiders couldn't keep the Eagles at bay. They tried, but the defence took a pounding. And Menzieri it was who came through with the try for the Sheffield Eagles, 14th of the season.
Well, following the goal line dropout and the penalty, this was the 9th consecutive play that Sheffield had attacking Barrow close to the line. Yeri, known for his direct and strong approach close to the line, he's almost unstoppable there at that change of direction. Players moving one way, when you have to stop and change your body angle, it makes the tackle even more difficult, and it's one in which Sheffield have taken the first score. Jens' good lead out with the left arm to score as well. He's held short, but grounds the ball in goal.
He's had a very successful season with the Sheffield Eagles, as Menzieri adapted very well to the British game and overcame a nasty rib injury to take his place in the side this evening for that try, which is converted by Woodcock. And the Sheffield Eagles, having escaped at their end of the field with that disallowed Raiders try, go in front. Menzieri, the try scorer for Mark Aston's side.
Work my shot again.
Menzieri's always going to be tough to stop near the line. Kyle Wood does ever so well. He gets the ball, he goes to the line, he attracts the Barrow defenders, he then runs across, making them chase sideways, the shoulders are out. Menzieri's very, very hard to stop when he's that close to the line. But this is where Sheffield now need to be composed, and they need to bring the ball back out and finish with a good kick chase. They built all the pressure up in the first 5 minutes. Let's see what else they've got.
9 tries in the last 9 games for Menzieri then. The PNG Sportsman of the Year 2008, and a popular figure here at Sheffield Eagles as well. Here's Joe Hurst on the charge for this Sheffield Eagles side. Howison now, and again, big hit on Howison.
Stand up now. Go.
The pressure is on Kyle Wood. He puts the kick in, and it's straight into the arms of Ballard, and Ballard looping run. And he's tackled by Howison and Peter Green. So some work for this Barrow Raiders side to do. They need just the bonus point. Bonus point would be enough to secure top spot for them, but they want to end this regular season on a winning note.
Well, Barrow always look at the best with the quick play of the ball, and Andy Ellis in control with the ball in his hands. They're finding some speed in here again now and breaking through 1 or 2 tackles.
Martin Osler it was with the run. Osler restored to the starting lineup by Dave Clark this evening. Just he kept the same 17, but he's just rejigged things a little bit, including bringing Osler into the starting lineup just to maybe get a little bit of firepower early on. As Coyle puts the kick in, Woodcock there to field it for his side. You've got 2 really solid full-backs out there this evening, in Gary Broadbent and Johnny Woodcock. Woodcock maybe a little bit flashier of the 2, but both very, very sturdy.
I'm not sure Gary Broadbent would agree with that, Bill. Both of the fullbacks can return the ball really strongly, and it's the back, it's the fullback, it's the wingers as well, who are very good for both sides. They really seem to get the teams on the front foot, but this is better defence by Barrow. They start to contain the go forward of Sheffield, and if they want to win the game, they must do that.
Haley plays the ball.
40, clear.
And crossfield kick. And Nixon will run it back.
Move! Wait!
Well, Barrow protecting both of the sidelines, trying to negate a 40-20, one winger and fullback covering the sides, and the rest of the players up in the defensive line. They know that that's the threat at this point in the match, when they have Sheffield trapped within their own half.
Crunching confrontation on the halfway line there, and Brett McDermott involved. Peter Green was there to meet him. As Dave Allen, and Allen is tackled just inside the Sheffield Eagles half. Gets to his feet to play the ball. Coyle. Luisi. Good offload from him, finds Rooney. Rooney bounces off the first tacklers, still trying to find a way through the Eagles' defence. Can't do so, that's the 5th tackle. It'll be Coyle who'll put the kick in. No, he won't, he's under pressure, and Barrow Raiders running it. Osler getting the ball away to Luisi, then Luisi puts a kick into deep into Eagles territory, and Danny Mills it is who runs it back.
Well, Nash rugby all round, wasn't it? Barrow electing to try and keep the ball wide, but the pressure from the Sheffield defenders sufficient to force the kick in the end. And I like to look Danny Mills when he caught that ball. There's so much pace and energy in him.
Here is the try scorer, Menzieri. 6-0 in favour of the Sheffield Eagles so far, as McDermott gets a hold of Peter Green and makes sure he doesn't make any progress. There's Matty Brooks. Brooks to Jostak. The Scottish international is tackled just on the 40-metre line. Cook puts the kick in. The chase is on down that sideline, and Nixon happy to see that one find touch before Damien Gibson could get there.
Well, a right-footed kicker out of the acting half-back position. It's perfect for him to put the kick in that corner, and his right winger to chase as hard and fast as he can. We saw the goal line dropout conceded by Broadbent in that part of the field. On this occasion, Barrow should gain possession from the scrum, but again, the Sheffield side will chase and compress here now to contain Liam Harrison and his teammates.
Harrison is tackled. Had a really strong game against Gateshead Thunder, Liam Harrison. Opened the try scoring for his side, but to no avail with that performance. Barrow now in possession. Rob Roberts doing what he does so well, turning and offloading, found Coyle. It's the 4th tackle. And good run from Ellis. Ellis was looking for somebody to come up on his shoulder in support. Nobody got there in time. Rooney fires the kick down the sideline, and Woodcock took one look at it and thought, not having anything to do with that.
And that's the first time in the match that either side have elected, I think, intentionally to keep the ball out, almost to take a rest here, walk to the scrum and regather themselves. Barrow have very successfully offloaded the ball to players around them. I don't know whether that's because Sheffield have contained them in defence. The referee's looking here now for a possible blood bin incident. Looking at the fullback, I think, to see whether... No, it's Damien Gibson. He thought there was blood on his shirt.
Let's go.
So Sheffield have possession with Danny Mills, and now Barrow Raiders looking to restrict any progress that the Eagles make, trying to force the mistake as Gibson takes the ball up. This non-stop Welsh international, 33 years of age, still going strong, keeping younger players out of the side. Ashley Thackeray can't get back in. Big hit there.
2 feet, Rob, that's not good.
McDermott again, and Dave Clark doing the damage. The Raiders need more of that as Howison plays the ball. They go across the field. It's Hurst who takes the tackle just inside his own half. And then the kick from Cook. Harrison got in the way of it. Did he deliberately?
Yes, he went to play at it, so Sheffield here now. I suppose that's the argument, isn't it? If you put the kicker under pressure as he did, I think it came off his leg. He throws the left leg clearly at it. He's intended to play at the ball. It's gone over the sideline, and Sheffield had the feed here at the scrum. Possession again. 6 more tackles.
So you're suggesting that maybe it's wise to stay out of the way then?
No, but if you do try and trap the kick, you hopefully want to keep it in play and with the first to it. Otherwise, your opponents here get on a roll, and Sheffield now flying forward.
Yeah, Peter Green it was who was tackled. Kyle Wood and Menzieri just slipped as he came back infield, but the Raiders finding themselves on the back foot once again as Peter Green drives it through the middle. Barrow back on their own try line, defending this latest assault by the Sheffield side. The pass goes behind Howison and finds Brooks, and Brooks almost managing to squeeze his way through a gap there. Craig Cook fires the ball up for Howison. He'll try and get it down. Has he done so? I think he's stretched out and got that ball down, the Eagles captain, but it's another decision for video ref Robert Hicks to make. Did Jack Howison get that ball down? Well, that would suggest he's not entirely convinced that he did.
Well, it all happened that quick with 2 men on his back. Oh, he just grounded it short, I think, on that first viewing.
That's a treble movement, isn't it?
Oh, well, he has to try it. It's the last tackle. He's not quite sure where the whitewash is. Do you know what? He may even be given the benefit of the doubt on the first one, because as we look at it again, they know it's clearly over the line by the end. On this first viewing, does some of the ball touch the white line?
Has he lost control of it and it's rolled there?
From the first effort there, the first look of it, you saw that. I don't think Jack Howison, this is a good angle of it. You can see him there, his arms goes down, gets grounded, then all of a sudden he's short, and does he even lose it?
I think he's lost it.
I think he's lost it there. He's lost it, picks it up,
There's a Barrow hand in there. There's a Barrow hand at the bottom there, pushing that ball nearer the try line.
Illegally stripped them, Bill, you say?
Well, he's rolled the tackle of Andreas Bauer. He's tried to get the ball out. I think he loses control. He then tries to get his fingertips to push it over the line. He's trying everything.
Video ref is Robert Hicks. He's having a very good look at this. Having a look at it real time, just to see. No, that's real time. That looks like a double movement to me.
Yeah, unfortunately for him. Amazing set from the scrum. They went from the halfway line to about 2 inches short of the try line.
No try, double movement.
And it was a double movement.
Lads, we're back here. It's here. Penalty.
And the penalty is awarded right on the try line.
Well, let's give some credit to the Barrow defenders there. To actually hold Howison up on the last tackle, outnumbered Bauer and Broadbent. It's an amazing effort. It saved a certain 6 points. And even at this early stage in the match, it's made life so much easier for the Raiders.
Jack Howison denied only his third try of the season. Doesn't get many in a campaign anyway.
Move, go.
It's another demonstration of how effective Sheffield are though when they get close to opponent's line. Yerry crashed over for the first one, and Howison just short with that.
Martin Osler with another good run for the side there. Just demonstrating why Dave Clark decided maybe to go with him from the start. Here's Liam Harrison. That's the 5th tackle.
Go.
And Rooney under a bit of pressure. Kick into space behind Danny Mills. Oh, Mills has made a real dog's breakfast of that. He's going to get caught, surely. Well, he is.
Sticks.
Well, a good kick by Rooney there, weighting it perfectly and making Mills forcing himself to make a decision here. Pressure from the chasers. Look at the blue shirts flying forward. Mills is aware of it. I think it's part of the reason why he fumbled it initially. Luisi and Ballard, Bauer, they all throw him over the dead ball line.
Well, to be fair to Danny Mills, that ball landed in an area of the pitch that hasn't been repaired, and it is a real pudding in those areas. Very soft and spongy, and there's no telling what the ball will do where it lands there. And it could very easily just have splodged down into the mud and stayed there, so he maybe had to make that decision, but it's a decision that's ended with the goal line dropout, and the Barrow Raiders now with an opportunity to test the Eagles' defence. First opportunity for some time.
Go.
Here's Coyle now. Coyle, little short ball for Dave Allen, and Allen for a moment thought he was going to be able to stretch out there. Ellis will try for it, but he's short and he's held up, I think.
Good work by Johnny Woodcock. He knew that if Dave Allen was going to play that ball quickly, Andy Ellis was going to try. He spotted it and he negated that. Andy Ellis is a real threat for Barrow.
On the last tackle then, they're running it. Rooney's pass is a great one for Osler, and he's over. On the last tackle, the Barrow Raiders went for the power play, and Martin Osler came up with the goods. Back at his former club, Martin Osler and Jamie Rooney setting him up for that try. The try that Barrow Raiders have worked hard for. Denied just a few moments ago, or very close just a few moments ago with Andy Ellis. Played it on the last, went for it on the last play, and they came up with the goods.
Ellis held just short, and just as Sheffield done at the other end of the field, the Barrow side backed their passing skills. They knew that they could pass and catch at pace and penetrate the Sheffield defence. Then it was just a matter of Osler grounding the ball. Pretty well done too, with Woodcock riding through his shoulders. But a nice angle run how he stepped back against the grain, into the gap, and grounded there. Now we've got a game in our hands here tonight, and the Barrow fans are relieved. That's their first try.
It's been a long trip for the Raiders supporters, but that's perked them up. Martin Osler was here in 2006 with the Sheffield Eagles. Been working his way from coast to coast, really. Started off in East Hull as an amateur, and now on the Furness Peninsula in the colours of the Barrow Raiders, as is this man, Jamie Rooney. This to level the scores then. Into the wind, successful conversion from Rooney. 6 points apiece it is, and you have to say Barrow Raiders have earned that. They've worked hard to get on level terms.
They've worked hard to get down the other end of the pitch, but Martin Osler is very dynamic, he's very aggressive, and you can see when he hits onto this ball, he really does pick his line well. Steps off his right foot, then his left, then Woodcock just not good at holding him up. He's a big, strong, aggressive player, Martin Osler.
It's worth pointing out, one of the important skills in that try was the weighting of the pass from Rooney to Osler. Too often players get excited and fire the pass through hard. He made sure that it was soft enough for Osler to catch it as he ran back towards the ball player.
That's a skill, that, isn't it, Phil? When you don't feel under pressure, that you've got to come up with that miracle play. You know, if you know that your teammate's going to come up and he's going to hit a line, you'll be okay, and Rooney done that perfectly.
Well, Barrow Raiders have got nothing to fear on their travels.
Here's the weighting of the pass, soft enough for the man approaching him, and in fact it made the try far easier for Osler. Once he'd broke through the line, then it was a matter of grounding the ball. Rooney key to the play for the last few minutes. His kick trapped them in goal, his pass set up the try.
And they get the penalty. Offside against the Sheffield Eagles, just on the halfway line. I was just going to say they've done fair enough on their the travels. The Barrow Raiders, they've won 5 of 9 away from home this year, and in the last 2 away games they've scored 110 points. And Steve Deacon was in charge. Maybe they're more relaxed playing away from Craven Park, where the expectations were always high and have grown since the ambition was heightened this season under Des Johnston, with this influx of players, the signing of Rooney. They've done well already this season, you've got to say. I mean, newly promoted, they're top of the table at the moment. They've been to a cup final. They're looking for another try here with Chris Young, it is.
An impressive young prop. It's his first carry. They're a centre field here now. Braychek takes it to the line. Options now, both the left and the right. I think they'll go left. Liam Harrison's very often the go-to man on these type of plays.
Will they go that wide? Rooney, in fact, comes back in field. Tries to put the step on, that's the 5th tackle. Another power play perhaps, another Ellis effort. Ellis with a little kick in, and Nixon has gone for it. He's gone for the camera as well. I think he got the camera. Did he get the try? Thankfully he's back on his feet, and he seems to think that was good.
Well,
another decision for the video ref.
We've seen the pace that James Nixon has. Just look how he waits patiently in the blocks, knowing that he has to let the ball hit the kicker's foot. Ellis drops the ball to his foot gently, targets it in goal, and he sets off and scores a fantastic try there. Great piece of skill. We've slowed it down. That's pretty hard at full speed.
And a speedy decision from the video ref gives James Nixon his 29th try of the season. Prolific try scorer. He got 35 tries last year. He's on 29 now, and that's the sort of finishing that's got him these tries.
Well, the last time they ran it, this time it's a kick, and a good one too at that. Gibson can't turn in time. He knows he's outpaced, outplaced, and that's the 2nd score for Barrow in quick succession. And one here that they're starting to look like a classy side who deserve to be at the top of this league table.
Well, that's turned things round. 6-0 down, 10-6 up now. And James Nixon, the former Dalton amateur in the Barrow area, with the great try poaching skills. Jamie Rooney with this conversion attempt from way out wide. It's a difficult kick and into this blustery wind as well. Rooney's got that one on. Oh, it was on target, just didn't have the legs, and into the breeze it just faded away. But Barrow Raiders are ahead by 10 points to 6, courtesy of James Nixon's try-scoring abilities.
But again, clever play by Andy Ellis. He gets out and he pulls the Sheffield line up. Damien Gibson has to come back. He cannot sit in the pocket, and that's just clever play. On that left-hand side, they are the go-to plays. Liam Harrison scored 12 tries. James Nixon, 29. That is a lethal combination.
We'll stop it.
Certainly is. And when you've got players like Andy Ellis pulling the strings for you as well, it's great to have players of that ability to finish things off. So the Barrow Raiders, well, they don't have a great record here at the Don Valley Stadium, as you can see. They've won only one of the last 10 visits here to Sheffield, although they haven't been here since 2006, and that was a defeat. 29 points to 8 in June. That was in National League 2.
I think Sheffield are fully aware now that when a side get on a roll in rugby league, it's very often hard to stop it. 2 tries in quick succession can easily become 3 or 4, and Sheffield's focus, I think, while they waited for that kick and whilst they've defended this set, is to now stop the tide of points coming. Can they contain the Barrow side for this set? There's good pace in the blue jerseys at present.
Katic, I think, has lost that ball. He has. Knocked on and gave himself away, really, Ned Katic. Little smile from him.
And the backslapping in relief here now for the Sheffield side. They've seen off the threat there, where you'd seen very often just comes to the full length of the field, can get a repeat set or score. Hard to get your hands on the ball, but Sheffield have that now.
So the Eagles have their hands on the ball for the first time in a while, and here is Menzi Yeri, and Yeri just shoves James Coyle out of the way, but Ballard was there to make the tackle. Now Danny Mills back in Sheffield, his 3rd spell at the Sheffield club for Mills. He's been with Doncaster, he's been with Widnes earlier on this season, but released by them. Now back with the Eagles, and the Eagles with Menzi Yeri, and Yeri again bumping off Coyle. Takes another couple of them to stop him. Great hands from Trevor Exton it was to keep that ball alive. Woodcock plays the ball. Kyle Woods, crossfield kick, and now Nixon under pressure at the other end from Damien Gibson, trying to turn the tables. Gibson embarrassed a moment ago. Nixon able to deal with that, but at the expense of a goal line dropout.
Well, an accurate kick from Kyle Wood, particularly with a strong wind behind him. He wanted it to come down on or about the try line, and Nixon just pats the ball over the dead ball line.
Tangi Rapati it was who was putting him under pressure.
I worked it out.
So this game really is seesawing. Barrow Raiders just having a strong patch, now finding themselves under pressure.
And from a previous goal line dropout that Sheffield received, we eventually saw Menzies Yeri crash over. If they can get close to that try line, they've several big guys who are hard to stop with the sniff of the white line.
Ryan Hepworth is one of them. Mark Aston looking on with his coaching team. Mick Cook and Brendan Lindsay alongside him. Lindsay out injured tonight with that cut thigh. Still rumbling repercussions about that incident. The cut sustained on this pitch. And the Eagles keen to know how that could come to happen. Matty Brooks now. Brooks pops the ball up. It's with Sam Barlow, and the pass was forward.
It was, wasn't it? I think just delayed. Well, I don't know from that angle. Hard to say. The referee or the touch judge has given it as a forward pass. Perhaps a tough call.
Barrow won't complain about calls like that.
Now this is a real dangerous time now for Barrow. Sheffield have sent on Mick Stringer, Sam Barlow, Ryan Hepworth and Trevor Exton. Real big players in the middle of that pack. Very destructive when they get the ball. They've got to really control them because they're dominant in the middle of the park. But if you take away the goal forward, attack them in defence, when they come to defend, they will have nothing. I'm not saying that that's where they get it, but I'm sure that's where Dave Clark will be looking to attack the big lads in the middle of the park.
There's Chris Young playing the ball. Lancashire born, but raised in Australia from the age of 3, Chris Young, but back in the UK to play his rugby league, first at Workington and now at Barrow Raiders. There's Ned Katic, plays the ball, and Rooney again goes for a touch. Finder finds touch with the kick. Just keep Sheffield down that end of the field.
It's a fascinating tactic. I'm not sure what Barrow are attempting to do here. There's no pressure on the Sheffield players in that part of the field. Perhaps a challenging kick from one that they could contest. They seem content to put the ball out of play and allow their opponents to try and work it forward from here.
But would that not be because they fancy themselves in defence, Phil? They want to contain them because Sheffield, as you said before, it's a short pitch, so they want to contain the yardage. They want to stop the likes of Menzieri getting hold of the ball. They want to stop the dominant plays, because when Sheffield are up the other end, they look very good with the ball.
Well, Sheffield are down at their end at the moment as Matty Brooks continues the move. And the Eagles in possession.
Not squared, Liam.
And the penalty against the Barrow Raiders, not square, was the decision from referee Leahy.
Well, the two men stood before the play. The ball have to be stood in direct line. You can see, I think, that they just split too early. The referee was trying to notify them, and Sheffield have gone with a quick kick, but failed to find touch. It was touched by a Barrow player attempting to keep the ball in field. It still means that Sheffield will get possession from the scrum, but it'll be a scrum start. There's the attempted kick to touch, but it's flicked, I think, by Broadbent, the fullback.
So head and feet at that scrum to the Sheffield Eagles. Here is Tanguy Rapati, another of the new signings this season, who's got better as the season has gone on, to the extent that one or two Super League clubs are now taking another look at him. And Trevor Exton comes across the field. Barlow, they keep the ball alive. And they're in again, are they? It's Joe Hurst, I think, who's got that down. He's held up, says the referee. And great defence from James Nixon that time, involved there to deny Joe Hurst. So Sheffield Eagles will play the ball. It's only early in the tackle count. That's the third tackle as Barlow goes down. Stringer just under those posts. Cook pops the ball up, and they are in this time, and it's Barlow with the try. Simplicity that time from the Sheffield Eagles. And Sam Barlow, 10th try of the season for the Huddersfield Giants academy player, who's here on loan.
Well, the simplicity in the final execution, but the try is well constructed when they get to this part of the field. It's well held up by two tackles, Nixon and Ellis, hold him up short to the line. But from that point on, to get into that position, then show a decoy runner, put the ball in front of him, into the hands nicely for Barlow to crash over. They make it look very easy, and it's very effective. But Liam Harrison caught between two attackers. Hole for Barlow to penetrate. Further points for Sheffield Eagles, and a chance here for them to go ahead if Woodcock can nail this kick.
Sam Barlow made 6 appearances for Widnes last year, then came here. You saw in that the shot as Barlow went over, Gary Broadbent looking to the heavens, because that penalty that they conceded has proved costly. And Woodcock to put the Eagles back in front with that conversion. 12-10 the scoreline now, Sheffield Eagles ahead.
Again, good play by Sheffield. They sent 2 dummy runners. They sent a dummy runner at Liam Harrison, and also they sent big Sam Barlow. Now Liam Harrison has got to make his mind up. Who's he going to go for? He was caught in 2 minds there. Here you go, here's the kick from earlier on. Comes off Gary Broadbent, goes into touch. Again, good play by the Sheffield side. They get the ball back from the scrum, and they go to score the try with big Sam Barlow. He does add a lot of impact when he comes off the bench.
Rooney's restart is a good one, and there is Ryan Hepworth bringing the ball back. Hepworth has lost it. There was a hand in there. It was stolen from him. Barrow Raiders not impressed by that call.
You can see the determination on his face as he's bringing that ball.
It did look like a loose carry.
It was a loose carry.
He was so intent on steaming the ball back with the ball that he forgot about the ball, didn't he?
You've got to put your body on the line when Ryan Hepworth gets the ball. He's probably one of the most destructive runners in this competition, along with this lad, Mitch Stringer.
Yeah, Mitch Stringer plays the ball on halfway. Now Craig Cook. Matty Brooks, that ball is spilled by Joe Hurst.
Well, it appeared as if he snatched at the ball, didn't he? Impatient before he got to him. Rooney in his face, Harrison on the inside of him.
I think he's had a little look up, seeing where Rooney was. He wanted to get on him, and he made his play before he actually caught the ball.
Well, Barrow Raiders have it back, and Broadbent. Good run from the captain. Like some precious yards for his side. Great offload from Ellis, finds Noon. Noon did well to take the pass, did well to keep a hold of the ball for a moment there. I thought he was going to lose it as he got up to play it. Luisi's short pass. Katic, strong run. 3 of them to stop him for the Eagles. Katic appeals for the penalty. Harrison looking to use his strength. Gets the ball away to Zeb Luisi. Luisi, tackled by Brooks. Ellis now. Rooney. Coyle, and then Paul Noon. Right in front of those Sheffield Eagles posts now. That's the 5th tackle. So Rooney, delicate crossfield kick again. Nixon is underneath it, pats it back, and it's the Eagles who'll come up with it, but it was knocked on. And it'll be the turnover.
Well, Sheffield have defended well because there was some nice passing plays. You see a knock on there by Nixon, his right hand in the air. Clearly puts the ball forward. But some nice passing plays. They pass the ball very well just before they get to the defensive line. It requires a great deal of skill to catch the ball close to contact, but it does make them difficult to defend against.
Woodcock finding progress difficult to make then. Now here's Danny Mills. Chris Young in with the tackle, so too is Andreas Bauer. Now here's Mitch Stringer again, and Stringer's lost that ball. And another penalty, another steal, says the referee.
Andy, start these out. That's 2 in 5 minutes.
So another.
I can't believe you're going to steal the ball as a man's going to trample over your face.
Well, the thought in Andy Ellis there, but they restricted Sheffield to 9 metres there in the first 3 tackles, and then they go and give a penalty away when they were dominant in defence. It's a real silly error.
I think maybe that time Andy Ellis did have a case to answer. It's a penalty that's, again, put Barrow Raiders on the back foot in their own half. 12-10, the scoreline in favour of the Sheffield Eagles. Just past the half-hour mark here at the Don Valley Stadium. It's with Johnny Woodcock for this Sheffield side, who are aiming to finish 3rd. Could go as high as 2nd in the table, depending on other results this weekend. Here's Menzi Yeri. Yeri runs strongly, but Braychek comes back at him strongly with the tackle.
See what comes.
Carl Wood now.
5, wide, 2 feet.
Wood it is. Plays the ball. Sam Barlow looking for a second, and it's gratefully gathered by the Barrow Raiders, by Chris Young in actual fact, as that ball ricocheted around, and they'll try and bring it away from trouble now.
I think Barrow started to anticipate the type of plays that Sheffield will put on close to the try line. The big forwards running close and tight to the acting half-back position, trying to put themselves and time their run to perfection, but it requires Barrow's defence in the middle, close to that play the ball area, to be as tight as ever.
Wait. Go.
Broadbent plays the ball. Now here's Paul Noon. So very quickly up on him was Menzi Yeri. Now Luisi, little kick ahead, and Ballard will chase that one. Woodcock, oh, good hands from Johnny Woodcock. Just got his fingertips to that ball as Ballard was closing in on him. And then, oh dear me, doesn't play the ball correctly and concedes the penalty.
Well, he'd said, hadn't he, that he had to play on. He hadn't been tackled. The tackle hadn't been completed, but in his defence, I think he was almost concussed. In gathering the ball and avoiding Danny Mills' knee, I think he did catch one on the head. The referee's saying, play on. I don't think he could quite hear. Very brave player to dive down there, the knees and boots flying.
Wide.
Well, a Barrow player actually put a hand on him, which would make it a tackle completed. So Johnny Woodcock, hard done by there. But the Barrow Raiders not going to look a gift horse in the mouth if they can help it. Can they take advantage of that with the half-time hooter approaching?
Well, there's Andy Ballard, clearly the tackle completed.
Well, it's history now because the Barrow Raiders are on the attack. That far corner of the field. Luisi gets to his feet to play the ball. Coyle now. Rooney. Here's Chris Young. Young reversing towards that Sheffield Eagles try line. Rooney pointing the way forward for his side. Noon alongside him. But Ellis goes in the other direction. Coyle, Katic, oh, Katic almost through, and Luisi desperate for the pass that didn't come. Katic will be penalised for his incorrect play of the ball.
Yeah, I'd have to disagree there. The interference at the play of the ball there. Very tolerant earlier, Katic, when he was being impeded to when he wanted to get up and play the ball. He's held down and interfered and pushed and shoved around there.
Okay, on the line. On the line. On the line.
Well, that's two harsh calls from referee Leahy. And I tell you what, Ned Katic has done well there, because he's not one to bite his tongue, Ned Katic, as he's discovered to his cost this season with a two-game ban for giving the officials the benefit of his thoughts about an incident, and he might have been tempted to do so there, Terry.
But maybe though, Bill, that's even something up, because you've got to say that Johnny Woodcock was unfortunate to get that penalty as well, but he has learnt his lesson, and he's a big player for this Barrow side. Katic, he really does lead from the front, and he tries to be that dominant force.
Well, here's a dominant force. It's Kyle Wood. Wood has got support outside, but he couldn't get the ball to it, and it's Ballard who comes up with it. Well, what a let-off that was for the Barrow Raiders, because they were outnumbered in defence there for a moment.
Well, that's the classic defensive interception, isn't it? There's 4 points saved here, not 4 points scored. But Ballard's done remarkable work to instinctively put himself in the right place. His concentration levels are good. He's got good speed and acceleration, which helps to put him in that position.
If he hadn't been there, I think it was Danny Mills who would have been in. So disallowed a try one end, Ballard, but he certainly contributed in the other direction with that save for his side. Half-time approaching. The Eagles ahead by 12 points to 10. Remember, a bonus point is enough for this Barrow Raiders side to take top spot.
Andy, keep giving me a step. Go, that's good.
But surely can't settle for that. It's like playing for a draw in a football match. It's a risky option to take.
You never do that, Bill. You go for the all-out win. You don't think of how many points you're going to win by. You just go out there and you try and give an 80 minutes performance.
Pass me. Go.
Dave Clark down on the sidelines,
We're running with it.
watching his side again. Brooks. Here is Hepworth. The Eagles looking for more points before the half-time hooter sounds. Stringer. Little kick in from Woods. Picked up by Exton. Yeary with Noon all over him. They did well there, the Barrow Raiders.
Andy, give me a step. Go.
On the last. It was a bit of a scruffy play, the ball. Cook's kick. And a knock on.
Well, pots and pans in the dishwasher. Time for a quick cycle here. They've got to have a minute to get on some more points here. They form the scrum as quickly as possible. The kick through, a difficult one for Ellis to take. Ricochet, the referee says a knock on him in his defence. It did appear as though the ball went backwards, didn't it? Seems to go backwards at all times, but still they've stopped the clock.
They've probably only got time for a rinse cycle in actual fact. Coming up to the last minute.
Back up.
Mark Aston watching on from the sidelines, up high. Dave Clark down below. They're going to go for the 1 point in actual fact. Well, they've got the ball back. Matty Brooks it was who went for the 1 pointer. It ricocheted and it's come back to him. And so they've got another set of 6, have they?
Well, that's the wheel of fortune when you charge down a kick.
Go.
Hepworth. So Barrow Raiders having to defend. There's the kick. And they could be in again. They are. And it's Mitch Stringer with the try that Sheffield Eagles have threatened at the end of this first half. And smiles on the sidelines, a grimace downstairs from the Raiders coach. And again, the heavy mob doing the job for this Sheffield Eagles side. And Mitch Stringer gets the try, his 8th of the season.
Katic and Broadbent are the ones who put pressure on Brooks for the kick. And they ride their luck, as they say. they've effected the art of crashing over with big men close to the line, changing direction, bit of deception from the dummy half. The defenders don't know which way to go. And I think it's time to empty the dishwasher.
Woodcock in front of the posts with this conversion to give the Sheffield Eagles a healthy advantage at half-time. Bang in front of the post, no mistake. 18 points to 10, the scoreline at half-time. The hooter has sounded, and the players leave the field. Dave Clark, plenty to think about. Not all of it bad, because they've had their moments in that first half. One or two moments when it didn't go their way, but the brains trust there. Preparing